Hello and welcome again to the Writer Review. This is Eric Carrot Writer, and this week we're going to be taking a look back at the 2001 action comedy movie titled Spy Kids. Now, Spy Kids runs for 1 hour and 28 minutes long. Put some light on here. There you go, that's better. Alright, it is directed by Robert Rodriguez. It is produced by Robert Rodriguez and Elizabeth Avilan. The script was written by Robert Rodriguez. The score was done by Danny Elfman, Harry Gregson Williams, Gavin Greenway, Robert Rodriguez, Los Lobos, Heitor Pereira, and John Debney, I should say. The cinematography was done by Guillermo Navarro, and it was edited by Robert Rodriguez. Robert Rodriguez, this is basically kind of like his own personal pet project here. Okay, the stars of the movie are Alexa Vega, Daryl Sabara, Antonio Banderas, Carla Gugino, Alan Cumming, Terri Hatcher, Cheech Marin, Danny Trejo, Robert Patrick, Tony Shalhoub, Mike Judge, George Clooney, and Richard Linklater. Now, Spy Kids truly succeeds as a kids movie that even the adults can take a liking to. Sure, it's not James Bond, where it's basically adult themed the whole way through. And maybe it's not as, serious and dark edged like the Bourne series or the other spy stuff like from, Alex Cross. No. This is still labeled as a kids movie. There is a lot more surrealism. There is a lot more lightheartedness in terms of the characters. And we will probably have kids' character like CGI algorithms that go along with the absurdity that you would find in a kids' movie. But still, there are also plenty of things about this movie that even the adults could get invested into. Okay, it takes the liberty in creating an exuberant atmosphere with insanely original set pieces, scintillating visuals, and plays out as a kid's film without ever getting the feeling that your intelligence is being insulted. Under the direction of Robert Rodriguez, he must have seen his project after its initial release and must have had a mile-long smile. So the movie goes a little something like this. Antonio Banderas and Carla Gugino star as Gregorio and Ingrid Cortez, two spies who once hated each other at first, and then they would eventually fall in love and got married and eventually raised two children, 12-year-old Carmen, played by Alexa Vega, and 9-year-old Junie, played by Daryl Sabara. They never told their kids they were spies. In fact, they have kept it incognito all their lives. They think that they're just typical 9-to-5 office job career parents, only to realize there's more to their lifestyle than just simply working in an office or some other boring, mundane lifestyle that they like to keep concealed. They never told their kids they were spies, but sooner or later, their cover is blown. Happily retired from the wacky world of espionage, Mr. and Mrs. Cortez eventually get abducted by an evildoer who goes by the name of Minion, played by Tony Shalhoub. And now it's up to Carmen and Junie to save them while fighting off robotic kid duplicates of all the other top spies in the world who have been put in some kind of secret lair, and now they have these robotic kid duplicates of spy parents, including Carmen and Junie. They have a robotic clone duplicate of Carmen and Junie. And, it's up to. And now it's time for the kids to kind of like organically have to take over the family legacy in order to save their parents and other spy kids' parents before it's too late. So now they are battling robotic kids and thumb-shaped monsters. Minion is under the superiority of a diabolical mastermind who goes by the name of Vegan Floop, played by Alan Cumming, whose kids show he hosts is a concealer to kids' manipulative evil schemes of world domination. Oh, great, another villain whose mindset is on world domination. Oh, sounds familiar? Of course it sounds familiar. Every villain in a spy movie or an action-adventure movie will always have their modus operandi simply being world domination. Enough said. Let us go on. His headquarters is located at a sea castle where strange thumb-shaped creatures reside there, while Floop has an apparatus that morphs clone-like robotic replicas of children from powerful parents who are also in the spy industry. They resemble the kids except for the stoic eyes and the creepy glow. But their brain capacity is not up to par, so Floop devises a third brain that Gregorio took after retiring from the biz. Will he succeed or will he not? I don't know. Well, I do know, but I just don't want to give away spoilers. Sure, it sounds quite juvenile on paper, but surprisingly, this movie has set pieces that will make James Bond's head spin. These gadgets definitely seem more superior than the things Q has invented over the years. If the adults are entertained as much as the kids are, then this movie truly stands out. I mean, most kids' movies that you may see might probably appeal to the younger age demographics, but then when the adults actually come to see this movie, they're embarrassed out of their minds. Here, totally not the case at all. Spy Kids succeeds in giving us its money's worth and why we even watch movies to begin with. We watch it for escapism. We try to sort of step out of our uncomfort zone to just relax our minds, sit back with our box of popcorn and our soda, and just savor the feeling of escapism and to just take our troubles away, even if it was just for 90 minutes. And believe me, it just makes things all the more comforting and more better for us. We can't always live in stress. We can't always live in the harsh realms of reality. Sometimes we just need to get our minds off of things and unwind. And that's the reason why people go to see movies. Aside from the style, which does exceed over substance with no apologies, there are moments of witty dialogue and clever banter, which adds more to the pleasure of the story. There is a great deal amount of humor, light humor, like you would probably expect, because this is something that you would probably see, well, aside from movie-affiliated stations, but this is something that you would see. This is actually movies that movies like Spy Kids is something you would probably see on family-based stations, like in Canada. You have the Family Channel. You have YTV, which provides these kind of movies. The American affiliates will have something like ABC Family or Disney Family. They would probably be more than happy to put this on their stations. Or even the American affiliate to YTV, which would be Nickelodeon. You would also likely find Spy Kids on that station as well. So yes, there's going to be light humor, nothing too dark, because we don't want the kid. We want to make this as PG as possible, and try to refrain from it being PG-13 into making it darker, because because this movie is supposed to be filled with humor and gags that would more appeal to the younger age demographic. The kids are definitely not alone in their quest. They are joined by their Uncle Felix, played by Cheech Marin, and an old friend of Ingrid's in their spying days, Mrs. Gradenko, played by Terri Hatcher. The kids find the secret to the safe house and become naturally savvy in these techniques, some more complicated than others. The cool thing is that the kids don't take their matters lightly. They are definitely committed. They feel that, hey, if my parents could face the world, no matter how dangerous they are, it's up to us to take the initiative. It's like their capturing is our initiation. It's our mission to rescue them. Because if they don't get rescued soon, then Carmen and Junie will probably end up as orphans. This is definitely a very selfless act of both Carmen and Junie, to sacrifice their own livelihood just to rescue their parents. They don't care about what kind of danger they're in. Yes, they are committed to the danger they're in. They will go to great lengths necessary to rescue the people who raised them, who nurtured them, who cared for them. And I gotta say bravo to these kids. It's selfless acts like these that makes me feel very, very happy to see, even if it is a fictional story. And even though they are fictional characters, selfless acts like this is something that is truly, truly inspiring. And this could be, a little bit of a lesson to the young fans out there. Would you go to great lengths in danger to rescue the people who have cared for you? Of course you would. Do you care about about your own safety? Absolutely. You know that your life is in danger, but that will not stop you from rescuing those who have cared for you. And it's selfless acts like this that definitely deserve a lot of merit. These kids are dedicated in their mission, and even Junie eventually gains confidence in standing up to the bullies in school. I'm going to say one thing, there was a lot of really good chemistry between Carmen and Junie. I mean, even though they're playing off almost like the typical siblings, they'll squabble at each other, they'll poke fun and diss at each other, and, they'll call each other names, and sometimes even Carmen can be a bit of a pain in the ass sometimes. Still, when it comes to really important issues, this is when they put their sibling rivalry aside and to take matters in their own hands, and will take down anybody and anything that gets in their way to get their parents back. They don't care what paths to cross, even if it is to put their own lives on the line. And I liked how Junie kind of like evolved during this whole mission. At one time, he was kind of a bit of the weak link, the beta sibling. I mean, it's basically it was Carmen who was calling out most of the shots. But I liked how Junie started to, eventually gain the confidence in himself as well, and standing up to grave danger and even the bullies at school. So I gotta say, this is definitely what you would call, oops, sorry about that, a great evolving character. Rodriguez definitely has a thing for special and visual effects, like for example his movie From Dusk Till Dawn, by depending on computer-generated set pieces with the colorful backgrounds that look like a party is taking place inside a paint box. Such awesome gadgets include chewing gum that can be used as a tracking device, or a cool car that can transform into a submarine. There's even a scene where the siblings take charge of a watercraft submarine shaped like a giant fish that will definitely put Captain Nemo to shame. Though I try to steer clear from race or even politics, even when it comes to kids' movies, but from an observation standpoint, Rodriguez made the film mainstream definitely for the Latino demographic. Yes, this movie is definitely full-blown on Latino. Even though you can say that Daryl Sabara, I don't think he's Latino. I think he's something like Polish Jewish. I think Daryl Sabara's. Carla Gugino, she's Italian American. But okay, yes, I don't really like to bring the race game in, but yes, this movie definitely has kind of a bit of a centerpiece with a predominantly Latino demographic. Even Gregorio jokes about the Latinos that make up most of the cast on Floop's show. So am I guessing they're spies from California? I'm kind of making a semi-joke here, but nothing to be offended about. It's great that the violence displayed here isn't gratuitously graphic, and that for a kid's movie, it's more juvenile and cartoon-like, which is fun to watch. It's basically almost like a James Bond movie set in a fun house at an amusement park. It's definitely fun to watch, and it kind of brings us back, sort of reminiscent to some of the Saturday morning cartoons or the live action surreal stuff that was also going on in the early 90s. Once the cartoons were almost starting to fade out and more of these comedy-based, lighthearted stuff was starting to come on. That's kind of like how this movie kind of feels a bit like. Even the kids' high-tech stuff looks fun to look at, as it is when it's used, unlike the gadgets that adults use in most of the time scaled down. So overall, Spy Kids stands out as a kids' movie that is rare to find, being that it is original, inventive, and not watered down to insult anyone's intelligence. It does have, lessons learned, but in a positive and not a preachy way. You never feel embarrassed to watch it, even if you don't have kids, you could still enjoy the film and be amazed at the work Robert Rodriguez accomplished. I gotta say, I highly recommend people to see this movie. It's a lot of fun. It's for both kids, even though the target audience is supposed to be kids. It's still fun to watch. And the adults can still also get invested into watching this too. Definitely, this is truly one of Robert Rodriguez's pet projects, and I think he actually succeeds very well. If I was to give a scale out of 10, I would definitely give Spy Kids an 8 out of 10. So I guess this ends my writer review. Thank you all for listening in. If you wish to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please feel free to do so. If you wish to leave a comment, go right ahead. But just remember the 3 simple rules. Be kind, be courteous, and please refrain from any rude comments. And I will be back again with another movie review. So until next time, this is Eric Red Writer saying, keep watching those movies, and I will see you around. Goodbye.